Hello, this is Postdoc Chronicles week number 123, and this is the last postdoc for the year 2020, the last postdoc video. But before we dive into it, let me just introduce this game. This game was like one of the games that was dropped during the Nintendo Indie Showcase like a week ago. So they introduced there a lot of upcoming indie games, the new ones, like the new ones that also shadow drop were like cat-based games like Calico and stuff. But one thing that jumped to my attention is this thing called Grindstone. So this was initially released on the Apple Arcade, very similar to Exit the Gungeon, the sequel of Enter the Gungeon. So there's like a timed exclusivity on the Apple Arcade, and then eventually it went on the consoles. So Grindstone, I got this. I saw it. I got curious. It's because it reminds me of the game that my fiance and I love so much on the iTouch before. Kept on playing it, and also on the Android called Dungeon Raid. So this game never got like an HD update. So we if you install it on your phone right now, the graphics are not like HD quality and stuff like that. So it's a really old game, but it's really very fascinating because Dungeon Raid is a roguelike a match 3 game. So you enter a dungeon, there's like a backstory, a random backstory. But what you do is you match tiles, and then for example, there are enemies, there are skulls, and then you match swords to attack the skulls. You match potion battles to heal your health. You match shields, to gain armor and stuff like that. And so when I saw this, it reminded me a lot, of Dungeon Raid, which is a very nice game. But it's an entire game on its own. So basically the premise is the same. It's a matching game. Again, you enter like different levels, you match. And I don't believe this is like a roguelite. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know if it's randomized. But basically, you enter. There's like a set of levels that you enter. You match stuff, but instead of matching different items in here, you match different enemies. And what you do is, if you match a certain number of enemies, if you perform a certain combo, a grindstone would appear. And what you want to do is that create a long chain of enemies. And then, because you can only chain similar enemies, right? But if the combo is long enough, you can create a grindstone, and then every time you pass a grindstone, you can transfer to another enemy where you can't jump if you didn't have a grindstone. For example, you have enemy A, you can only match enemy type A, but once you cross a grindstone, then you can go enemy B. And then again, if you have enough, so again, the trick is making the combo as huge as you want. And it's really very nice to look at, because every the moment you finish the combo and then your character attacks, it will go. It's very satisfying to listen to. And then eventually, there are like unique enemies that can, like, for example, you need a certain amount of combo to kill them. Sometimes an enemy would like enter like some sort of a super saiyan mode, like they will flare up, I think that's what it's called. And then when you end the combo beside them, you get damage. You can bring equipments and so on. So it's basically dungeon raid on steroids. And I'm really happy, that there's a game similar to that. And again, it started on the Apple Arcade. So it's one of those games that is faster or efficient to play when you use touchscreen, as opposed to controls. So when you use controls, it still works, but I recommend touchscreen, man. Again, just like Dungeon Raid, again, because it started initially on the Apple Arcade. So it was like designed initially for the touch. But again, the buttons work just fine. The animation reminds me a lot of like Adventure Time. If you watch that cartoon Adventure Time, or Rick and Morty, like in the brutality, like you have these very cute Adventure Time characters, and then it's brutal, man, when you slice them and stuff like that. Do check it out. It's on sale right now. I think it goes for $20. It's on sale for $15, I think. But yeah, that's Grindstone on the Nintendo Switch. But anyway, let's go to a postdoc. So later on, actually, I'm aside to give a talk on the our Susi reading, in the University of Florida. We're gonna look at some of the terms that arises, or that are left in the super space generalization of your action. And the thing is that before, in the last discussion, it was claimed that there are some non-renormalizable theorems that would show that these terms would get corrections in different ways. Like, so one of the terms, for example, K, would get corrections from all the loop factor. One of the terms would get a correction from the first loop only, and then there's another term that would get just get a correction only at the tree level. So later on I'm gonna discuss that. I actually haven't read it yet because I'm gonna watch a video later, but I'm still updating my Xcode on my laptop right now. It's a huge update, and then afterwards I'm gonna update as well my OS to a Big Sur, the Mac OS. So I haven't done it yet because I still don't have the space. But right now, one of the simulations that I did was done, and then I have some enough space, and then I'm gonna update first before I continue the simulation. So speaking of simulation, I was doing again some of the unmatching case because I noticed that when Jong asked me to look at prepare an exclusion plot that only depends on the best search that we have. So like just one search, because usually in checkmate you combine the exclusion of different searches, but then sometimes one search we want to see the reach of a particular search, like which portions of your exclusion plot is contributed by a specific search. So we want to do them individually. So I was supposed to do that, but then I noticed that one of the final state that we need to look at, which is the KK gluon. So we're basically doing strong production in MUED. So we have combinations of a KK singlet, KK doublet quarks, and then final state that contains singlets alone, doublets alone, or combinations of singlets or doublets, or the KK gluons or KK gluons alone. In one of my final states that contains KK gluons alone, for some reasons MadGraph was not generating that portion. So basically there's something wrong with the initial batch of the generation I did. And so I did it right now for the Wimpy case. Fortunately, I tried to plot the exclusion plot. They still kinda look the same. So the absence of the KK gluon did not affect things very much. But we still get the behavior where the exclusion line of the Wimpy case, it's like a straight, like almost a constant with respect to 1/r, but then it's kind of swivels to the left when dealing with the small lambda r, which translates to a very small mass splittings. So that's what we did. Also, last week I was not. By the way, I was not able to join the University of Florida club. That's why Yining, like our like the guy that does these things, he assigned the next reading to me, which I'm gonna present tonight, just to make sure that I can catch up with them. And the reason is because we had this meeting with my Philippine colleagues, and most of the meetings in the Philippines. Sometimes I can't join them like on a regular basis, like Exicom or graduate committee meetings, because usually they meet like morning in the Philippines, which is usually like dawn here. But that meeting I had to join because it was important. So even though it was like 10 a.m. In the Philippines, like 4 a.m. here, I had to join it. I had to be there because it involves our involvement with CERN, the Atlas collaboration, and stuff like that. So we talk about what are the amounts that we had to pay when when we want to join the Atlas collaboration, the full membership fee, the authorship fee, things that I talked about in my former previous Postdoc Chronicles, I think 2 Postdoc Chronicles ago. And then so we had that meeting. So my colleagues via the Dean Tapang, they will be how do you call this, bringing the proposal to DOST. So the money isn't there yet. They're still gonna pass the proposal, and then hopefully it's gonna be approved. The proposal. We'll see. So hopefully next year, because again we need to be able to pay starting September 2021, when hopefully my qualification task will be over first quarter of 2021, right? And again, also later, by the way, so midnight later, I'm gonna present in the SUSI readings in our MUED project. We're also gonna meet 6 p.m. I think later, and then it's gonna be our last meeting for the year. Unfortunately, we won't be able to again submit the paper because we were trying to improve the matching case, and again we only have a very small exclusion points for the benchmark points for the matching case, and then we were trying to figure out how to present that. But then eventually we asked Roberto to try, instead of matching with the two extra partons, with two jets, what if we just watch it with one. So it turns out that the difference, in terms of like the magnitude of the output FMC file, and the how long you can generate a single benchmark point is enormous. So we with the two with matching with the two extra partons, it will take like more than 2 days for one benchmark point. And then Roberto told us that if we only simulate one matching, it only takes like around 2 hours, so it's like an order of magnitude smaller, which is very helpful. So right now over the Christmas break, Roberto's gonna going to extend the reach of the benchmark points that we did for the matching case. So we won't only focus on the area where the mass splitting is small, so that we can cover an exclusion plot that looks like the exclusion plot that I have for the no matching case. So we're gonna do that hopefully. So that's a good news right there. And again, with that, then we won't be able to submit our goal where we would have wanted to submit, or at least upload the paper on archive before Christmas, but we can't do that anymore because again we discovered that we can do a more enhanced matching scan with one extra parton jet. So there's that. And then also in the validation that I'm doing for checkmate. So right now I'm doing this recent monojet again, like I said before. Christoph wrote the analysis. I'm doing the validation. So far, I did the validation where I look at the boundary and then make sure that whatever Atlas is excluding is also being excluded by analysis. So that's fine. But however, they also have a table of the number of surviving events for a very specific benchmark point, which involves a stop decaying into a top and a neutralino. I tried that. The thing is, the final values that I have are very different, in the different signal regions. So after the update that I'm doing in my laptop, I'm actually gonna show it to how do you call this Christoph, and then get his opinion about that. And then also finally in my Atlas qualification task. So during the break, I'm gonna focus on writing the draft of the things that I've done so far, because one of the requirements of a qualification task is to document the things I did on an Atlas note. I haven't done that actually. I haven't done that yet, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write an Atlas note, like a PDF of something, of a summary of the things that was done so far during my qualification task. But yeah, anyway, this is the last Postdoc Chronicles. I don't think I'm gonna. I will. I'll still be working. Like next week and stuff like that. But I don't think. Yeah, because for example, my MUED collaborators will already be doing their vacation starting tomorrow. Today's like that's why we set our meeting today. They said today's the last day that they're gonna work. Deepak's already in his vacation. I believe starting like December 13 or something like that. He went to this country in East Africa called Seychelles or something. So I won't be communicating with him anymore. So the I believe the next Postdoc Chronicles hopefully would be, it won't be very far. It will be like but it will already be in 2021, like around the first week of 2021. So until then, I'll see you next time. I hope you have had a great 2020. So 2020, very turbulent year because of the pandemic, the lockdowns, and all these things. So like I couldn't imagine. I always expected to go back to my old room in the graduate lodge. I couldn't have imagined like March early this year when I first came here that I'd be stuck here for the better part of the whole year of 2020. And then in fact I had to move all my things here eventually because they made that my old accommodation area, they made it into a quarantine zone for infected students or stuff, so I couldn't go back there anymore. So I'm here now. But anyway, and also recently I discovered that there are in fact some buses, but very rare, but some bus drive going to campus from here. So at least I can still go to physics if I want. In fact, last week, majority of last week as well, I spent going to WITS to continue my payment for my accommodation, which I hadn't paid since July until December, because like I outlined in my previous post, the Chronicles, the DOST funding was delayed. But anyway, yeah, see you guys in 2021. This is the last for 2020. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye 2020, and see you 2021. That's also the last year of my postdoc, basically, because I'm going back to NAP in around the middle of 2021, so June 2021, something like that, right? But thank you guys for watching. See you next time, 2021, for Postdoc Chronicles week number 124, and bye bye.